Now, look, I have heard of a lot of things in my life, and the world is rapidly changing. Uh, and it seems like they come up with something new all the time. Saw a clip recently. Someone wrote into some podcast talking about their husband wanting to go on a gaycation. Yes, I did say that correctly. A gaycation with his male best friend. What is a gaycation, you ask? Well, let me tell you. Apparently, is when two straight, for all intents and purposes, two straight men go on vacation together. At this vacation spot, they are free to do gay things. Or, gay, that's the best way I can describe it. I don't know what to say. They're gay while they're there, basically. And then they come home to their straight lives and continue on. And yes, a husband had to ask his wife if he could go do this, which is odd in itself. But either way, I don't have a problem with it. I assume the wife does. But I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with a person being gay. What I do have a problem with is, why are we lying about it? Why are we lying about it? Like, like you basically saying, "Oh, I'm straight. I do like a gaycation every once in a while, though." It's all right if you not you when you get home and you say you're straight, you're the last thing from straight. Okay, you might not be fully gay, you might be bisexual, which is fine too. Sexuality is a wide spectrum. Okay, we all like and love what we love. It is what it is. And I think everyone should be able to do so without judgment. But look, if you out here faking the funk, going on your gaycation, and then coming home to the wife, and the wife knows about it. And the wife knows about it. Come on now. My thought is this also. Okay, cool. The wife knows about it, and I don't know if she said yes or no, but either way, the wife knows about it. And so, is the person he's gone with, is that person gay and out? Like, are they always gay? Or are they also straight at the house, but gay on the gaycation? It's a wild thing. Like, I want to know, like, if that person was like gay, like, outwardly gay, like they people know they are out the closet and proud of it. Like, how do they feel about this? Being on the down low with this straight person. As soon as they get back to the house, as soon as they get back to dry land, they gonna act like it. They ain't got nothing to do with them. We just best friends. We grew up we grew up since kids. I don't know what you're talking about. We ain't gay, except on the gaycation. But yeah, that's what the world is these days. Apparently, it's. I don't know. Honestly, what it is, it's a testament to show how we still got a long ways to go. We still got a long ways to go when it comes just to being accepting of people, and also people being accepting of themselves and being comfortable with who they are. We just got a long ways to go. I don't feel like any vacations to be freely who you are should need to exist. Not a bunch of they charging these motherfuckers a lot of money too, just so they can do this. That's the beat up part. That's the shit. That's the shit's gonna be beat up about it, to be honest with you. Is that these companies like, hey, there's a market for straight men on the DL that might want to come and have that gaycation. When this regular vacation might cost, whatever, let's just throw a random number, might cost $1,500. They charge these motherfucker $3,000 because they know they can. What are they gonna say? What are they gonna do? Like, hey, you're overcharging me for my gaycation. That's a secret. I mean, you call it what you want to. It's basically blackmail is what it is. But what the fuck do I know? This world is wild sometimes, and in the end, like I said, we just need to be a little more accepting of each other and ourselves. So gaycations don't have to exist. They can just be vacations. I feel like we should be able just to have vacations. And you can do whatever you want on them. And then also when you get home, you can do what the fuck you want then too. But hey, that's me. This is another episode of the JC Weekly Podcast. Episode 4. We doing it. Hey, week by week, we getting it done. We chipping away at it. We're going to be at 20 before you know it. To see any other of my content, please follow me on TikTok. That is JC Weekly Talks on TikTok. I might put clips of this podcast there, and also I do other just like shorts, obviously. Instagram, JC_Weekly. And here recently, I have started a Substack. For any of you know what a Substack is, that's where you post some written content. Whether it be poetry or articles or think pieces or whatever, essays, So I'm a writer at heart. I always have been. It was probably my first love in the creative, field. I've always been a writer ever since I was a kid, and I've always tended to do it all through the years. I haven't done it in a long time, and I'm trying to get back to it. To be honest with you, I am kind of burnt out on the short form media loop that is going on in society in content, creative content. I'm kind of burnt out on it. It's just chasing some viral moment instead of it stops being so much as fun. And I've always done it as fun. Make the little short videos with some humorous content. It's always just fun to me. But you get to a point where you start just to feel like you're just chasing views and shit like that. And I don't want to do that. So that's why I'm doing this longer form content also now. And I want to get back to writing, so I started a Substack. And I had my first Substack post is up. It's a piece that something that was on my heart. Something that I wrote, and it was good to knock the rust off. I know I've sent it to a few folks, and they've been very supportive of it, and they've liked my writings. It's always funny when you let somebody know that you have some type of talent they didn't know you had. Okay, I've never really hidden the fact that I write. I feel like I've always said it. I don't think a lot of people have ever seen it. So people have heard me say I write. And years ago, when I was younger, and I was writing pretty heavy. Some friends, seen my writing. Mind you, I was in my 20s. Everybody was young, they were in their 20s as well. Seen some of my writing, and they thought, "Oh God, it's so good." I think at that time I was probably doing a lot of like poetry, writing, spoken word, so on and so forth. I'm sorry. Apparently I can write but not speak. So I showed it to them. Showed them my stuff. They thought I was like, "Oh, so good." And I've felt I've had comments people ask like, "Why are you doing what my actual job is? Why are you doing that? You should be doing this instead." I appreciate that. But I've had people tell me, this shows you the quality of friends I had. All right. "Oh my God, your writing is so good. You know what you should do? You should write a porn." I just poured out my soul in this poetry. This metaphors on top of metaphors and similes and analogies. It's all this layers on top of layers of things. And your recommendation to me to use my writing talent, you should write a porn. And this ain't even a fucking joke. I had somebody say to me, "You should write a porn." Now, to be fair, at that time in your 20s, you're pretty You're a horny individual. You make a lot of sexual jokes, which I did. I might still do. Hey, but so I guess they took that. It's like, hey, take your sexual humor and your writing ability, and you should write a porn script. I'm gonna tell you what. If I wrote a porn, that porn will be the deepest porn porn story you've ever seen in your life. You be crying before they even start fucking. the characters will be like multifaceted characters, layered backstories, emotions, and then some fucking on the side. This has been fucking later on. Tell me to write a porn when I write like this. Okay? It'd be something else if I could just weave us a good story and they could see that. But I was like, and my pen was pretty good back in the day. I'm a little rusty. My pen's pretty good, And they're going to lower me down to writing porn. I know there are some people who watch porn for the story. I feel like if I wrote a porn, you'd definitely be there for the story. Like the fucking would be just the cherry on top. You might not even want to care about the fucking. You might just turn it off. Can we skip the fucking and get back to what happened with this couple right here? Anyway, I thought that was some wild shit. I thought it was funny back then, but like now, as I think back on, I was like, that shit's wild. Like I'm trusting you to see that this talent that I have. And you're going to minimize it down to porn. Hey, maybe I will one day. Maybe that'll be my next thing. I'll sit down and write some porn. But yeah, so I've started the Substack, which I'll be hopefully regularly kind of posting some. I'm actually working on something. A second post right now. I'm writing something. So yeah, go on Substack, JC Weakley. It's there. So if you're into Substack and you're into reading, like essays and poetry and articles and such, to see some really good writing. There's a lot of great stuff on there. A lot of great writers. To be honest, I also post the podcast there as well. So if you want to see it, it's there. I wanted to touch on something that came across my plate earlier this week. Had someone who had been in a long-term relationship, interracial, black and white, weren't together anymore. And that person, and can't remember what it was specifically that got us to this point, but the person happened to say they weren't sure about interracial relationships anymore. I was like, oh yeah? Please elaborate. Because if you know me, if you don't, I was in an interracial relationship for 25 years. My kids are half black, so on and so forth. So I wanted to hear more about it. So this person was like, yeah, I looked at my own relationship and like we didn't make it. So maybe interracial relationships shouldn't, be as prevalent. Maybe it shouldn't be a thing. Maybe people should stick to their own race when getting into marriage or relationships or whatever. Of course, I agreed. Excuse me. Of course, I disagreed right out the gate. My first thought was like, that, like, your relationship doesn't represent everyone else's relationship. First of all, that's the first thing. Your relationship does not represent everyone else in the world's relationship. Your relationship represents your relationship and your experience. That's it. But then I did sit down with a little bit. I wanted that. Because obviously there's plenty of relationships out there black and white, Asian to black, Asian white, whatever you want it to be, that do have successful relationships, successful marriages, and there are plenty out there that have gotten divorces. Plenty of white ones got divorces. Plenty of black ones got you know. But I was curious, so I sat down and thought about it, and I can understand what they're saying, or at least what they're trying to say. What the viewpoint is. Obviously, a person was hurt and just didn't know about their own life, and if maybe that was the reason things didn't go the way they should have went. And it's easy to step back and say, oh, we were both from different cultures, different ideologies, so on and so forth. Maybe it was just too drastic of a thing of two different people to last, which I mean is valid. I think that's a valid thing to say, but also you can say the same thing about people that are of the same race. Two people of the same race can come from different backgrounds, different cultures. Not quite culture, but if you're the same race, but different backgrounds, different ideologies, just different people, and they can not flourish. They cannot do well. They can end in divorce. So what I did, so you know what, I wouldn't mind seeing some numbers on this. So I did look up and see, is there any numbers out there? Anybody did a study, something of the sort, of interracial relationships, success rates, success failures, whatever. And there had been from a handful of years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago. It did show that interracial relationships did have a higher divorce rate, like at the 10-year mark, than any others. Something like that. Which that's good information. But the thing is, the number wasn't crazy higher more than anybody else. Think of it as, I mean, that's just from the sampling size of whatever they took that, study from. And I accept those numbers, but I also am like, you know what? Sometimes it's not about where you're from, culture, background, being different, Maybe in the end, you two weren't meant for each other. And I think that's more it than anything, than being from different backgrounds. Is that two people tried to give it a go. They thought being together and enjoying the time, would last. It did. I think it just happens. It's life. And that I don't think we should focus so much on if people are, well, we shouldn't focus so much about any of this, but black and white, they're failing, black and black, they're failing, so on and so forth. It's just the one thing that's I see talked about online a lot. It's how there'll be black women that make content or TikToks or whatever, talking about how better it is being with a white man. I think that is a little detrimental in general, a little dangerous to say. Because it's just hard for me to believe that just because the woman's black and the man's white, they're getting such great treatment and they're lasting forever. I just don't think that's the case. I just think you just happen to find a good man. And we're just saying man, not white man, not black. You just happen to find a good man. That was the man you wanted to be with. Y'all lasting. Great job. But it's so funny how like, and it's honestly, I feel like it's dividing like the black community a little bit by so many women saying that. And I know I ain't no help in the same regard, because I mean, me personally, I say I only want to be with a black woman, but you know, I don't make videos saying how way better there. Well, maybe a little bit, whatever. But how does it make, like, you know, black men in the community feel? Or if I say it was a white woman and she said, "Oh, the best man you can get is a white man." Like I feel like there's no need to like label things by color. Just say man. Like, this is my man, and he's a good man, and he treats me well, and we're gonna last forever. And then there's like the other side. It's basically like, you know, they don't want none to do with white folk. It's the group of black women that don't want nothing to do with white men. And I appreciate it. I understand that. Because, I mean, honestly, I mean, in the sake of this conversation, you can say, like, yes, I understand you wanting to be with someone that is more like you and understands you and understands your culture. Because I'm sure any black woman with a white man or vice versa could tell you, for the white person in the relationship, there's going to be a little, unless you grew up around a lot of people, a lot of black people, you know, in the culture, in the community. Unless you grew up around that a lot, I mean, there's a learning curve, and I've spoken about it before. You know, you have to come to an understanding that you don't understand. You don't understand black folk problems and some of the culture things. So there's definitely a learning curve, and I do understand that that can be an issue. But I refuse to think that because you're in an interracial relationship and you divorce, it was because of that. At least I think I refuse to think that. Because I feel like anyone can be together and just not make it. I mean, divorce, I feel like divorce is high anyway, and it's so hard like, you know, marriages work no matter who you are. And I feel like it might be a little bit of a cop-out to say, oh, I think we didn't make it because we were of different race. Like, is that running away from what the actual cause is? Are you, like, skipping over the, you know, underlying problem? Or maybe the problem's not underlying at all. You know what it is. Like, this is just what you're going with. I don't know. I think the society is made up of, like, we've all, you know, there's so many interracial relationships now. So much stigma around it, whether it be popular or unpopular. That's also another thing I don't like. How people make a big deal about having light skinned babies with light eyes, good hair. I hate that part. I hate that part when it comes to interracial relationships, where you're bragging about your babies. Okay, you're bragging about your babies because they're light skinned, light eyes, and good hair, as if a baby that's fully black with a dark complexion, dark eyes, and, you know, coarse hair isn't just as pretty. I feel like, you know, the hashtag like mixed babies and shit like that. I feel like a lot of people put up, like it is used so often that it's very annoying for me to see. As if you're just in this thing just so you can show off you mixed babies. I've got mixed kids, and I ain't never used hashtag mixed babies. I ain't never showed them off as anything but them. I've never titled them as mixed children. I've never interracial, you know, whatever. They just my kids. They are not, you know. They don't need to be titled. They're just my kids. But yeah, it was a weird thing for it to think that the reason, like, you know, the idea that maybe people should just stick to their race. And I think that's kind of we're going backwards if we do that. It's like we're going backwards. I mean, because, you know, back in a time where, you know, black men would get killed for even mentioning such a thing. We don't want to go back to that, and we don't want to. And not that I'm saying not, and that's a little drastic, but I'm just saying. Back then, you know, black men, white women, so on and so forth, you know, had to hide the fact, and these people were actually like had feelings and were in love with each other, but they couldn't do it. They couldn't show it. Couldn't show it, and you know, if they end up having a baby, then the whole thing of a mixed baby that came out passing, and then that baby would have to basically lie about who they were. It's regressive to say maybe we shouldn't integrate in that way. Love who you love. Man, woman, black, white, Asian, Latino, whatever. Love who you love. I feel like everyone at some point in time fights to love who they want to love, but don't turn around and blame something so shallow as race when it doesn't work out. I'm just saying. It's something to think about. I feel like I'll still keep, you know, rolling this over my head. But yeah, it's just you just minimizing it down to your own relationship and just trying to represent yourself as everyone, and that's not the case. I mean, there are plenty successful couples, married or not, of all compositions that are making it just fine. I think it's just hurt is what it is. It's pain to make you think that way and wonder. Hey, but what can you do? You know, the world's a crazy place. I think that's it. I think that's all I had to talk about. I appreciate you listening. Please, if you have any thoughts on the matter, please let me know. Please, I'd love to have any kind of discussion about this. Just let me know down in the comment section. And you know, we can maybe figure this out. Let's have a good discourse about it. So once again, this is JC Weakley Podcast. Catch me in all the places where I will put links to everything in the down in the description. You know, TikTok, Instagram, Substack, so on and so forth. Please, hey, do me a favor. Go read some of my stuff on Substack. I you know, it's personal stuff. It's kind of you know, put myself out there a little bit, but you know, it was needed, and I like that I'm getting back to it. So anyway, Until next time,